Scalp pimples refer to the pimples and breakouts that develop on the scalp or hairline, which can be very frustrating and painful sometimes. And they also refer to a buildup of skin cells or excess sebum, which can lead to inflammation in the hair follicle. And all of a sudden, you have a painful bump on your head. Let's go over 5 ways we can get rid of scalp pimples, and also 5 things we can do to avoid them from returning. Also guys, share this video if you know someone who has scalp pimples, and give this video a like down below too. It takes 2 seconds, and as always, I'll try to be as thorough and helpful as I can to you guys. Also, I'll be sharing a bonus tip at the end, which can definitely be a game changer too. Let's talk about a very important distinction between hairline acne, which can also be part of the normal acne vulgaris, folliculitis, or what's known as pomade acne, which is caused by the buildup of oil and waxes from your products. They happen usually on the hairline. But another big cause is heavy makeup and wearing a hat, which can cause friction on the hairline and subsequently pimples. There's that, and then there's also pimples on the scalp, usually on top of the head or in the back of the head, which is more often caused by how often you cleanse your scalp. If you're getting a lot of excess skin and oil buildup, the shampoos and types of products you use, as well as other scalp conditions, are all to be determined as potential causes. So definitely examine which products you're using. No matter what type you have, don't worry, the solution for both types will generally be the same. What the first thing that you should be doing is getting rid of all comedogenic products that clog your pores on your scalp. You want to use hair care products that are oil-free, non-comedogenic, and non-acnegenic. Here's a list of ingredients you should be avoiding on the left, and ones you may want to consider avoiding too if your scalp pimples are frequent and recurring. A big mistake, guys, is a lot of people that what they do is they use leave-in or deep conditioners on the actual scalp and not the ends of the hair. You're only increasing irritation and buildup if you do this, since conditioners are not designed to sit on top of the scalp. The second thing you need to do is make sure you resolve any other scalp conditions you may have. Ingrown hairs on the scalp, dandruff, seborrheic dermatitis, and scalp psoriasis are all common scalp issues that need to be targeted and addressed. I made a video about them here, which I highly encourage you to watch next. The third step is to apply a salicylic acid treatment. You could do this for 2 to 3 times a week. An affordable one that you could pick up for $8 uses 3% salicylic acid and does the trick is Neutrogena's T-Cell, which I've linked below for you in the description box as my affiliate, not sponsored. T-Cell has a good keratolytic properties, meaning it breaks down excess skin cells on the scalp and at the same time gets into your pores and tells your oil-producing glands to not pump out so much oil. Just make sure you don't go over 3 times a week because it can be too drying. In the days of the week you aren't using T-Cell, you can use your mild sulfate-free shampoo. I like the one by Vanacream, which is pH balanced, sulfate-free, paraben-free, dye-free, and fragrance-free, and designed for the most sensitive of scalps, which I'll also leave a link down below for you as well. Another tip I want to add in here is make sure you aren't using T-Cell or any other salicylic acid products on the strands of your hair. Sure, we'll clarify them, but they can also damage them. So focus on getting the product in the scalp as best as you can. What's nice about T-Cell is that it can also alleviate dandruff, seborrheic dermatitis, and scalp psoriasis too. But let's say you have folliculitis on the scalp, which looks more like this. This is caused by a few different microbes, Malassezia being one of them, which is a type of yeast that can overgrow on our scalp. Secondly, it can also be Pseudomonas after exposure to contaminated water, such as in hot tubs or swimming pools. What it does is that it invades the hair follicles and causes inflammation, which is why it's referred to as hot tub folliculitis. You're going to need something else in conjunction with salicylic acid, which is sodium hypochlorite, which can be a do-it-all ingredient that's antibacterial, antifungal, and anti-inflammatory, yet is super gentle. The Clean Healthy Scalp Shampoo has a formulation with both salicylic acid and sodium hypochlorite that addresses folliculitis even better, which is going to be linked below for you as well. The fourth step is kind of like a backup plan, because within the 4 weeks you've been working on removing them, the scalp acne and the folliculitis should have made some improvement by the 4-week mark. If not, then it's now time to try Ketoconazole with a scalp massager to increase blood flow to the scalp. Now, Ketoconazole is an antifungal product. If your scalp pimples have not been resolved yet, then it's possible to have what is called Pityrosporum folliculitis, which happens when the yeasts that naturally thrive on our scalp multiply and attack the hair follicle. A product like Nizoral can help in this situation if the others have not worked, which you can use it twice a week for 2 to 4 weeks to see if that helps. And lastly, the fifth step is after you use all the products for 4 weeks and you've even used Ketoconazole for an additional 2 to 4 weeks and haven't found results and still get painful bumps or folliculitis, you may need to see a dermatologist because other options might suit you better, like antibiotic creams, retinoids, physical extractions, and light therapy for some folks. Now let's move on to 5 things you need to be doing to avoid them from recurring, with the first being not going to bed with wet hair. Wet hair creates a moist environment that, combined with warmth from your body and pillow, provides the ideal breeding ground for the critters on your head to thrive. And on that note, you want to wash your pillowcase once or sometimes even twice a week. You won't believe how many germs are on there as we speak. Secondly, you want to wash your hair soon after exercise. During exercise, your body temperature rises and your sweat glands produce sweat to help cool you down, right? This sweat can mix with the natural oils produced by the scalp and worsen the acne and folliculitis. Also, if you're exercising and sweating outside, environmental pollutants, dust, and dirt will stick to the sweat on your scalp. So it's really important you wash this all out soon afterwards. The third thing you could do is let your hair breathe. So no tight hats like beanies and baseball caps that are going to trap in the heat. The fourth is absolutely do not pop them. It can lead to scarring and spread the germs into other hair follicles. And lastly, which is going to be our bonus tip, sharing is not caring. And what do I mean? Hair products like brushes, combs, and styling tools can harbor bacteria and fungi, because sometimes you can even see product buildup in the teeth of the comb, which is horrible. Please be washing your hair tools, and when these items are shared, they can transfer these microorganisms from one person to another. So definitely, if you can, don't let your significant other use your hair care tools. I also wanted to note that if you have pimples that aren't resolving or deeper cysts or nodules, it's important to see a dermatologist as well. But I'm more curious to hear from you guys. What has helped your scalp pimples or folliculitis? Leave me your suggestions down below. Click the subscribe button if you found this information useful. And until then, guys, I'll see you on the next one.